Let's continue with our proof of similar triangles. We've already shown using the given information that we had one pair of congruent angles. By that theorem, AA, or the angle-angle theorem, we only need to show two pairs of congruent angles to show that the two triangles are similar. So for our next pair of congruent angles, we're going to need to recall a theorem that had to deal with vertical angles. So whenever two lines intersect, two pairs of vertical angles are formed. Now looking over at this diagram on the side, we see that we have two lines, line 1 and line 2, that are intersecting each other right here at this point. And two pairs of vertical angles have been formed. Vertical angles are opposite of one each another. So the pair would be angles 1 and 3 are vertical to one another, and angles 2 and 4 are vertical to one another. And we had learned the definition of vertical angles. We also had learned a theorem that we abbreviated VAT, or the vertical angle theorem. And that stated that all vertical angles are congruent. Now let's see how this is going to help us with our proof. Now let's look just once again at the two triangles that we're trying to prove similar and see if we can find any vertical angles. In our first triangle, we have triangle BFE. And our second triangle we have is triangle CFD. Now if we look at this line here, line DE, and line CB, we see that those two lines are going to intersect at point F. And we are going to have a pair of vertical angles that are formed. We're going to have vertical angles CFD corresponding to vertical angles BFE. And since they're vertical angles, by the vertical angle theorem, they are also going to be congruent. So I'm just going to mark these two angles as being congruent using this diamond shape. So let's just shrink that down really small. I'm going to put that in that position right there to mark this angle. And I'm going to just copy it and put another one to mark that these two angles are congruent. So back to our proof, we're going to write down that we found that angle DFC is equal to angle BFE. And when we go over to our reason is going to be that theorem that we used, which was our VAT, or our vertical angle theorem. So now we have discovered that in these two triangles, triangle BFE and triangle CFD, we've found that we have two pairs of corresponding congruent angles. And by the angle-angle theorem, we can now say that these two triangles are similar. So that is going to be our final statement in our proof. We want to prove that triangle BFE was similar, and that's done by that little squiggly mark, to triangle CFD. And over in our reason column, we are finally going to get to use that theorem that we loved, which is our AA theorem, or the angle-angle theorem. Therefore, we have shown that two triangles are similar according to the angle-angle theorem and have explained our reasoning in our two-column proof.